Good morning, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for coming along for the journey. This morning we're in late April, almost May. Things are starting to green up. Got up this morning, decided to come out and take a couple images of a place I haven't been in a while, but I've done a couple videos from here, called Darlington Covered Bridge in Darlington, Indiana. You know, the sun's coming up here over my shoulder. The bridge is behind me, as you can see. All right, gonna take a couple images, see what turns out, and have a conversation about something that seems to be out there right now all over the internet. The conversation about the new Canon RF 100 to 300 f2.8. So let's take a couple images and then we'll talk about that. So thanks for coming along. All right, so for this morning's images, as the sun's coming up, I am using a circular polarizer. I've tried the combination of f11 and f16. Shutter speeds, depending on how much light there is, again, shooting at ISO 100, we've been anywhere from about 4 seconds down to about 1 second. Not a lot of color in the sky, a little bit, but it's what you get sometimes when you come out. Not a lot of clouds, so there's not really much out here. That just seems to be par for the course for anything that I want to do. But gonna take a couple more images. Might actually try a couple other things here. As a matter of fact, I think I might turn around and shoot an image that's here behind me. I think you might be able to see it if you look off back down this way. All right, looks kind of nice. Might try that as well, see how that turns out. Anything that I do get that looks halfway decent, we will put in right here. So let's take a minute to talk about the newly announced Canon RF 100 to 300 2.8. Before I even do that, I just want to mention weather finally got good enough, and here we are late April, early May, and I got a chance to finally for 2023 break out the adventure hat. So that's a positive. Hopefully we got a nice several months coming up here. We can continue to wear that and enjoy some summer or at least warmer weather. All right, so let's talk about that Canon RF 100 to 300 2.8. Give you some of my opinions on it. No, I haven't shot it. All right, I have not. All right, it seems to be a lot of people talking about it. Seem to find a lot of things on YouTube, a lot of things on the internet about it. Now, again, this is from the amateur perspective, my perspective, all right, on this. So now, the lens is $9,500 and it's a 100 to 300. Now granted, eventually, if not already, you can hook it up with a 2x teleconverter or a 1.4. Certainly gives us some reach, so it gives us a little bit of flexibility, plus it's nice to have the zoom. But it's $9,500. Now, it's RF glass, so I guarantee you it's going to be fantastic. There's no question in my mind it's going to be a great lens, something that will render incredible images. Good for sports, definitely. Probably good for events and those kind of things. Definitely good to use. Now, I was going back looking at some of my images, that I took back in my sports days, back when my kids was playing soccer and when I was shooting high school sports for Max Preps. Back 2010, 2011, 2012 era. And at that time, I was shooting Nikon. I was shooting a Nikon D3. But I had a Sigma 120 to 300 2.8, and I had the 1.4 teleconverter, and I had the 2.0 teleconverter, and I used it for football, and I used it for soccer, and I used it, for different things. Also used it for shooting wildlife, and I looked at, some of those images, from back then. And I will put them in. I'll put some in here in just a second so you can look at them. The images I took with the Nikon D3, which by the way only had 12 megapixels, not like 45 megapixels that the Canon RF has. All right, I'll put some of those images in of a morning that I was in Cataloochee in early January. Excuse me, not Cataloochee. It was early January, and I was in Cades Cove down in the Great Smoky Mountain National Park. And I took some images on a very frosty morning, that kind of forgot all about. And then as I was looking back, seeing what I took at at different times, and I saw these, I was like, man, these things are pretty nice. And again, this was taken with a Sigma lens, a Sigma Sports, what was it, 120 to 300, 2.8, as I said earlier. All right, and as I think about it, I think I paid about $3,000 for the lens and the teleconverters combined. All right, now you be the judge when you take a look at these images. I think the quality is pretty good. I was able to get great images, with nothing really fancy, or by this $9,500 standard, and it worked great. Matter of fact, when I look at the images, I wonder, why the hell did I get rid of this thing? It was great. I don't even remember why. It just was, I guess, one of those things that you do and you look back on and say, I should have never done that. All right, but I did. But you be the judge. Take a look at the images, which I'll put in right here. Now, you be the judge of that. These images, look pretty darn good in my opinion, for a $3,000 lens. Now, if I had the $9,500 lens, we could do a comparison. You could look at it and say, yeah, this is better or that's worse. I can't really tell you that. But as an average amateur photographer, I don't have $9,500 to drop on it. And I would assume that probably 95% of the population doesn't either. All right, for what it's intended to do. It's a lot easier to go out and buy something used, a lot less money to buy something used, and use it, to go out and capture images, because a good lens, even if it was 10 years old, is going to still render a great image even today. All right, so it's up to you. I'd love to know what you think. Throw some comments in. Do you think it's really worth spending $9,500 on that lens? Do you think it makes more sense to go buy something used? I've said all along that I'm pretty much married to the RF system, so I'm going to only shoot RF glass. Looking at those images make me wonder, maybe should I not change that viewpoint, save a little bit of money, go out and buy, the adapter and buy an older lens and try to capture, images with that. I may do that here in the future. I haven't decided, but I may. But again, leave me some comments. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for coming along on this journey this morning. And until we see you again, stay safe.